If I'm being honest, the number one reason that most families are moving into East Cobb is to get into certain high school districts. And we're talking about three in particular. Walton, Pope, and Lassiter high schools all rank 10 out of 10 on greatschools.org and offer some of the most highly desired education in the state. But is moving to these areas really worth the cost? Housing in East Cobb is more expensive than neighboring cities like Marietta, Smyrna, and Woodstock. On top of that, East Cobb is a city without a local government, which can lead to more complication and things getting done and reinvestments into the community. It also lacks certain levels of amenities that are found in nearby Roswell, Alpharetta, Marietta, and others. So today we're going to dive in and see what it's like to live in East Cobb, and are these factors like the school, the lifestyle, the housing, and others worth the cost of living in East Cobb, or should you and your family look elsewhere? Let's jump right into it. Now, really quick, we're just going to do a brief overview of what East Cobb is, because if you're coming from out of state and you're looking online, East Cobb might be a little bit confusing. It's an unincorporated area in Cobb County, so that's why it's a little bit murky to search it up on places like Google Maps, where you might get an inaccurate border, or Zillow, where it might come up with nothing at all. Now, East Cobb sits on the northwest side of the perimeter around Atlanta, with Marietta on its west and Roswell to the northeast, and has a population of roughly 200,000 people, making it about a quarter of the Cobb County population. So it's a pretty large chunk of the county. It's about 25 to 35 minutes from downtown Atlanta, depending on the traffic, of course, and just a little bit more than that to the airport. East Cobb is very suburban feeling. It's got lots of trees and detached single-family neighborhoods, and it's become quite a popular choice for people who are looking for slower suburban living while still being close to the city and all the amenities it has to offer. Now, with that brief overview out of the way, let's dive right into the schools, the lifestyle, and other factors that make up living in East Cobb so you can see if it's worth it for you. Now, we're going to start with the number one reason that people are choosing East Cobb, and that is the schools. Now, if you talk to anybody who's moved to East Cobb, this is the number one thing that you're going to hear over and over and over again, is they came here for the school districts. Now, we're largely talking about 3 high school districts. There are about 6 in East Cobb, but the 3 big ones that a lot of people are really choosing to move to are Pope, Walton, and Lassiter, that all get a 10 out of 10 on greatschools.org and have very highly rated feeder schools at the elementary and middle school level as well. All of these schools rank very highly academically on the state level and nationally. On top of that, they've got fantastic athletic and performing arts programs, and families are definitely paying a premium to get into these districts. Now, these aren't the only high schools that serve East Cobb. You've also got schools like Kell High School, Sprayberry, and Wheeler High Schools. These are more in the 7 out of 10 range on these aggregate websites and are awesome schools in their own right. It shouldn't be a deterrent to be in the Wheeler district versus the Walton district, but for a lot of families who really value getting into that top ranked school, they are only looking at these 3 different districts, and they definitely pay the premium to be there. Housing prices can be very different, just a couple minutes apart, depending on what school district you're in. A similar house might sell for much higher in the Walton district versus in the Wheeler district. Or even if you look into different cities, there might not be a very large evident difference between being on the east side of East Cobb and the south side of Roswell, but for families who are looking to get into those school districts, it is a big difference between going from this 10 out of 10 school on the East Cobb side to maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10 over on the Roswell side. And that is such a major reason that families are choosing to live here in East Cobb despite the costs. It's also why East Cobb has been able to maintain such a family-focused atmosphere. East Cobb feels very catered towards families with school-aged children. There isn't really a downtown presence here in East Cobb. Everything is very suburban and spread out. So if you enjoy that peaceful, quiet type of community where it doesn't feel like the hustle and bustle is in your everyday, then East Cobb might be for you. If you are looking for something a little more active with a nightlife and all that comes along with that, East Cobb might not be the right fit. But families aren't just moving to East Cobb because of the schools. It offers a lot of other great features as well that makes it perfect for families moving to the area. For example, the commute and location perks are fantastic living in East Cobb. Because you're just off of I-75 and I-285, you have fantastic access into the city of Atlanta or across the metro area. Whether you work in Buckhead, downtown, Sandy Springs, or even all the way over in Alpharetta, it should be a fairly straightforward commute. It also makes it very easy to access a lot of the lifestyle and amenities that other cities have to offer nearby. Places like Marietta Square, downtown Roswell, and the Battery Atlanta are really right at your fingertips. You can have the nice isolation that comes with suburban living while still having very easy access to amazing amenities. And that leads me to what lifestyle and amenities you have in East Cobb and in the immediate area. Now, in East Cobb itself, if you like the outdoor lifestyle and enjoy keeping your kids active, you're going to have so many options within your own community. Now, of course, East Cobb borders on the Chattahoochee Chattahoochee River, and they've got miles and miles of hiking trails throughout the city. There's lots of creeks that feed into the river, and they offer a fantastic opportunity for an afternoon out with the family. Me and my wife, we like to take the kids out to the old abandoned paper mills, where you can get a nice couple miles of a hike in, skip some rocks on the creek, and then finish it off by climbing through these storybook ruins taken over by nature. And these options really are everywhere throughout the city. East Cobb also has a fantastic network of playgrounds, parks, and recreation spaces. Places like East Cobb Park really highlight this outdoor active lifestyle that families like to live in the area. And if you're into adult or youth sport leagues, there are a ton of options throughout East Cobb. Everything from East Side Baseball Association to the local leagues over at Johnson Ferry Baptist Church and more. East Cobb is perfect for families who are looking to stay active either as a couple or with their whole families and just live an active lifestyle. It also features lots of swim and tennis communities. We're going to get to the communities and the housing in just a minute, but that's definitely a feature for a lot of people who are living here. There's country clubs, golf courses, and everything you need to keep you moving throughout the year. Now, I mentioned that you don't really have a downtown core here in East Cobb, and that is true, but there are lots of shopping and amenity options in the area. Places like the Avenues at East Cobb offer all the shopping you could need in one centralized outdoor area. On top of that, right next door, you've got the Battery Atlanta, the home of the Braves, which has become a go-to option for locals, whether they're looking for restaurants, entertainment, retail, dining, or more. So even though you are lacking a centralized downtown in East Cobb, there are plenty of retail, dining, entertainment options, either in the community or just outside. Now let's get into the housing in East Cobb. What does it look like? Well, I did mention that the housing in East Cobb is going to be, on average, more expensive than in neighboring cities. Here in East Cobb, the median detached home is going to run you just over $600,000. Compare that to Marietta and Smyrna in the low to mid 500s, or Woodstock, which comes in at just below 500,000. That can leave people with a little bit of sticker shock. Now, this is going to be a tale of two cities kind of story. As I mentioned earlier, the detached homes are going to be more expensive in those three high school districts we mentioned. If you are looking to get outside of that and you don't need those three highly sought after schools, then the prices are going to be more in line with these neighboring cities. But that said, these homes are a lot more affordable than in other neighboring cities like Roswell, Milton, and Alpharetta. So overall, East Cobb does offer a good blend for people who prefer not to pay Alpharetta prices, but still have the budget to get into a community like this. And for some people who prefer the lifestyle of East Cobb over places like Alpharetta, it's a no-brainer. Now, the housing types in East Cobb are going to be very suburban feeling. If you're looking for tree-lined streets with families and kids going for bike rides in a very suburban feel, well, then this is going to give you that in spades. Now, many of these homes were built between the 1970s and the early 2000s, and some are still going to give you all of the character and charm that came with those eras, and others are beautifully renovated to give you a more modern and upkept feel. You can even find lots of infill development in East Cobb where developers have taken some of these old lots and put brand new modern construction homes, which offers a little more variety to the housing types here in East Cobb. You also have a lot of swim and tennis communities, including a few that are centered around golf and country clubs like Indian Hills. Now, if you're looking to get into East Cobb on more of a budget, you can find single family homes from the high 400s to low 500s. That price point can certainly get your foot in the door. If you are looking to be in those premier high school districts, then you can expect to pay at least in the mid 600s for the median home. And then if you have the budget and you are looking for your forever home, there certainly are many options from the 700s all the way up to the multi-millions here in East Cobb. But what is consistent across all of these different neighborhood types is the strong sense of community and pride that goes into it. People who live in East Cobb definitely invest into the neighborhoods and the relationships that they have in their community. And that's felt throughout the entire community. Now we're going to jump into a quick pros and cons of living here in East Cobb, but before we do, my name is Brian. I'm a local Atlanta real estate agent and a transplant to Atlanta myself. And I use that experience to help families every single day who are looking to move to the North Atlanta metro area. So if you're thinking of buying a home in East Cobb or any other great North Atlanta community, then you definitely want to reach out because we are experts on this process. I'm going to put all of my information in the description so you can reach out however you see fit, and we'd be happy to get you started on your home ownership journey here in the North Atlanta metro. Now let's do a quick bullet point pros and cons of living in East Cobb. On the pro side, East Cobb has some of the most highly regarded schooling districts in the entire metro Atlanta area and all of Georgia. It offers fantastic suburban living, easy access to big city amenities, and a great community and lifestyle to raise families. It's also very well located next to Sandy Springs, Atlanta, major arteries like I-75, I-285, and others. It's great for those who like to keep an active lifestyle and want to raise their kids to do the same. On the con side, it can be a little more expensive than neighboring cities like Marietta and Smyrna, especially in those top high school districts. It also doesn't have much of a nightlife or a centralized downtown. In addition to that, it's going to miss out on some of the more modern amenities that places like Alpharetta, Milton, or Johns Creek have. Large mixed-use districts like the Avalon or the medley over at Johns Creek aren't found here in East Cobb. This feels like more of a tucked away suburban oasis than a modern city with trendy amenities. But for many families, the pros outweigh the cons, and if they do for you, then maybe you should consider a move to East Cobb. If this does seem like the right fit and you are ready to buy a home in East Cobb, then definitely feel free to reach out to us and we would love to get you started on that journey. But if not, I'm going to offer you a couple of different options. First of all, if you go down into the comments and comment the word guide, I would love to send you our relocation guide to the North Atlanta suburbs. We cover a ton of the communities here in the North Atlanta metro area, and you can compare them to see which might be the best fit for you and your family. The second option is you can hit subscribe to the channel. We are putting out a ton of content about most of these different communities and suburbs in the area, and trust me, you want to find some of these ones before they blow up and get more expensive or too crowded. So go ahead, hit subscribe and the notification bell, and go ahead and watch this next video. YouTube thinks it might be the best watch for you. Thanks again for watching, and we will see y'all later.